Prime Minister of Greenland, a territory of the Kingdom of Denmark, can't believe I'm putting this in a sentence, is telling Donald Trump that he cannot conquer Greenland or try to buy it or acquire it, that it belongs to the people of Greenland, that it is its own country.
As the Arctic emerges as a key battleground for global power, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump renews his expansion plan to acquire Greenland.
President Trump has offended another leader, and this time he is faced with criticism. For how long can you have the freedom to disrespect anyone and get away with it? Trump said something about Greenland. And honestly, not just the people of Greenland, but anyone who respects a nation's sovereignty would get offended by Trump's statement. And that's exactly the reaction of Greenland's prime minister. But what did Trump say that caused political chaos? Let's find out. Everything was going well, until President Donald Trump once again emphasized the importance of U.S. ownership of Greenland, describing it as essential for national security. This statement is a reiteration of the sentiments he expressed during his first term when he proposed purchasing the island. Trump has consistently argued that control over Greenland is not only crucial for national security, but also for ensuring freedom throughout the world. He believes that having Greenland under U.S. control would significantly bolster the country's strategic interests and global influence. During his first term, Trump's proposal to purchase Greenland was met with skepticism and even ridicule by some. However, he maintained that the acquisition would be a strategic move for the United States. Greenland, the world's largest island, is rich in natural resources and occupies a critical geographic position in the Arctic. And once again, Trump argued that U.S. control over Greenland would provide a strategic advantage in terms of military presence and resource exploitation. Trump's renewed emphasis on Greenland comes at a time when the Arctic region is becoming increasingly important in global geopolitics. The melting of Arctic ice due to climate change is opening up new shipping routes and access to untapped natural resources. This has led to increased interest and competition among major powers, including the United States, Russia, and China, for influence in the region. Trump believes that U.S. ownership of Greenland would secure a significant foothold in this strategically important area. In addition to its strategic importance, Trump has also highlighted the potential economic benefits of acquiring Greenland. The island is rich in natural resources, including rare earth minerals, oil, and gas. These resources are becoming increasingly valuable as global demand for them rises. Trump has argued that U.S. control over Greenland's resources would not only enhance national security, but also provide significant economic benefits.
President-elect Trump says he wants to buy Greenland. I didn't know you could do something like that, but that's what Trump posted over the weekend. He wrote that the United States of America feels that the ownership and control of Greenland is an absolute necessity. Trump didn't just randomly post about this. He had just announced his pick for ambassador of Denmark when he posted it, the country that controls Greenland. And Trump has brought this up before. In 2019, he said that his administration was talking about buying Greenland, comparing it to a real estate deal. Denmark said no way, and Trump canceled a trip to Denmark in response to that. So why Greenland? That's important to this. You see, Greenland is home to a U.S. Space Force base, for one. It was an Air Force base for decades, but shifted to Space Force in 2020. Greenland is also rich in valuable minerals, as well as oil and natural gas. So could Trump actually buy Greenland?
Before we continue further, tell us, are you enjoying the video? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel for more videos about China's development, power, and influence on the world. Let's continue now. Despite the strategic and economic arguments, Trump's proposal to purchase Greenland has faced significant opposition. The government of Denmark, which currently has sovereignty over Greenland, has firmly rejected the idea. But how did the leaders of Greenland react to such a statement? Greenland's leaders were quite vocal in their response to Trump's statement about U.S. ownership of the island. Prime Minister Múte Egede firmly rejected the idea, stating that Greenland is not for sale and emphasizing the island's long struggle for freedom. He made it clear that Greenland's sovereignty is non-negotiable and that the island will never be sold. Egede's response was not just a simple rejection, it was a powerful assertion of Greenland's autonomy and identity. He highlighted the historical context of Greenland's journey towards self-determination, pointing out that the island has been striving for greater independence from Denmark for decades. This struggle for freedom is deeply ingrained in the national consciousness of Greenlanders, and any suggestion of selling the island is seen as an affront to their hard-won progress. In his statement, Egede also underscored the importance of Greenland's natural resources and strategic location. He argued that these assets should be managed by Greenlanders themselves, for the benefit of their people, rather than being controlled by a foreign power. This sentiment resonates strongly with the population, who are proud of their land and its potential. Furthermore, Egede's firm stance was echoed by other Greenlandic leaders and politicians. They united in their rejection of Trump's proposal, emphasizing that Greenland is not a commodity to be bought and sold. This collective response demonstrated a strong sense of national unity and pride, reinforcing the message that Greenland's sovereignty is not up for negotiation. The reaction from Greenland's leaders also highlighted the broader implications of Trump's statement. It was seen as a reminder of the historical injustices faced by indigenous peoples around the world, who have often been subjected to exploitation and colonization. By standing firm against the idea of selling Greenland, its leaders were also making a broader statement about the rights of indigenous peoples to control their destinies.
I don't know, it got released somehow. It's just something we talked about. Denmark essentially owns it. We're very good allies with Denmark. We protect Denmark like we protect large portions of the world. So the concept came up, and I said certainly strategically it's interesting, and we'd be interested. I thought that the Prime Minister's statement that it was absurd, it was an absurd idea, was nasty. I thought it was an inappropriate statement. All she had to do is say, no, we wouldn't.
But can Trump own Greenland? The idea of purchasing Greenland is not feasible for a multitude of reasons. Greenland is an autonomous territory within the Kingdom of Denmark, meaning it has its government and a significant degree of self-governance. Any decision regarding its ownership would not only involve the Danish government, but also require the consent and approval of the people of Greenland, who have their own distinct cultural identity and political aspirations. The notion of buying Greenland was met with strong opposition from both Denmark and Greenland. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen firmly rejected the idea, calling it absurd. She emphasized that Greenland is not for sale and that the proposal should not be taken seriously. This stance reflects Denmark's respect for Greenland's autonomy and the strong bonds between the two nations. Greenland's response was equally clear and assertive. The leaders of Greenland, including Prime Minister Múte Egede, reiterated that the island is not a commodity to be bought and sold. Egede emphasized that Greenland's sovereignty is non-negotiable and highlighted the island's long struggle for self-determination and independence from Danish colonial rule. He pointed out that Greenlanders take great pride in their heritage, natural resources, and strategic importance, and they are committed to managing these assets for the benefit of their people.
Minister of Denmark back then said, no, we're not interested in the sale. Trump was supposed to travel to Denmark and canceled that trip as a result of some of the comments back then. And again, here we are in 2024. The idea of somehow acquiring Denmark has come up again and again. Acquiring Greenland has come up again. And again, the response from Greenland, from Denmark, has been that Greenland is not for sale and never is going to be. And so it's a non-starter conversation from their perspective.
In addition, the idea of selling Greenland is seen as disrespectful to the island's inhabitants, who have fought for greater autonomy and recognition of their rights. The strong opposition from both Denmark and Greenland underscores a unified stance that Greenland's future should be determined by its people, not by foreign interests. The proposal to purchase Greenland, therefore, is not only unrealistic but also dismissive of the island's sovereignty and the aspirations of its people. Many other nations like China work with Greenland too, but why has it never asked to buy Greenland?
Let me cover both of them. First of all, with Greenland. Look, Greenland has what's called rare earth materials. These are very, very important for national security, for a lot of U.S. manufacturing. China, who we're kind of in a trade war, we're in a trade war with, has a lot of these rare earth materials. It would make sense for us to be able to work with the Danes to make sure that we have access to them. And of course, it's also a shipping lane as well. So, but we're not going to get to the point where we're going to, buy Greenland. But I want to cover also the Panama Canal. The problem there is first of all, there are high rates for going through the canal. But look, it's being, those ships that are going through that canal are not U.S. They're foreign carriers. And they're charging us an arm and a leg, not just down in Panama, but really all over the world. So, who are those ships? Where do they come from? They come from Denmark. They come from Germany. You see, this all gets back, Richard, to the issue of NATO and our allies. And this is what we have to be careful of. If we are, insulting them or stepping on them, at some point, they're not going to want to cooperate with us. And that's really an issue here. Look, there's a legitimate concern about these rare earth materials. There's a legitimate concern, but we don't have foreign carriers. We don't have U.S. carriers. We have foreign carriers, and it's like a monopoly, and they rip us off. There's no question about it. But in order to get that under control, we're going to have to work with other governments. We don't want to insult other governments.
Respect is indeed very important. We would like to take a moment here and appreciate you all for commenting and sharing your opinions. Your insights always impress us. Do you think passing such statements and making the locals feel like they are goods that can be sold is something the leader of the U.S. must do? Let us know in the comment section. When will Trump start thinking before saying anything? Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to get exclusive videos about how phenomenally China is developing and growing its influence over the world. Until the next video, stay tuned.